Hey, good morning. It's Saturday, September 19th. Really cool to be with you this morning. Actually, cool in a number of ways. Fall is coming in a couple of days officially, but we're already seeing some of the effects of it here where I live. The temperatures are much cooler today, and we're going to be for the next couple of days. And we can see through the changes in the seasons around us in terms of God's faithfulness. Already getting some of these guys on the ground, the beautiful leaves of fall. And we're going to have these beautiful reminders of the change of the season and God's faithfulness to us over the next several weeks as the colors behind me will change from the darker green to these sort of various colors of fall and what God has for us. And it's God's faithfulness I want to talk about this morning. Because God's faithfulness is what we need to orient our lives around and not circumstances. If our lives are oriented by the circumstances of our life, whether it's the political circumstances, the immediate family circumstances, circumstances of work, whether you're being treated fairly or unfairly, if my life is oriented around circumstances, then anxiety, fear, maybe depression, worry, doubt, uncertainty, that's what will dominate my life if I am oriented to circumstances. Or, of course, sometimes we have this wrong kind of pride. I'm going to beat the circumstances no matter what. That doesn't bring peace either. If your life is focused on peace, then it's focused on the faithfulness of God. If our life is focused on circumstances, then we cannot know peace, true peace. There's a story in Scripture which helps us get a focus on this. This is in when Judah, the southern kingdom, had been carried off into Babylon and were serving under the king, Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel had three friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That was their Babylonian names. And they refused to bow down and worship. Now, Nebuchadnezzar's, at the urging of some of his supposed advisors, had constructed this magnificent idol statue of gold that, if you could believe it, was 9 stories tall. I mean, that's just, wow. And every day people were supposed to bow down to this. And these three guys did not because they were being faithful to God. Well, part of this was a trap by the Babylonian advisors because they didn't like the influence of the Hebrews and their concern to God. So they formed a trap and they caught these guys not bowing down to this idol. And they got Nebuchadnezzar to agree anybody that didn't bow down to the idol was going to be tossed in a big fire. So Nebuchadnezzar liked them, so he pleaded with them, look, guys, don't do this. Just bow down to the idol and everything will be cool. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. And Nebuchadnezzar got angry. Don't you understand? I'm going to throw you in the fire if you don't do this. Pretty heavy-duty circumstance, because they think, well, look, we're going to lose our ministry. Things are going to go bad. We're not going to be able to serve God. Maybe we can play along. No, they don't do that at all. Rather, they look at the king straight in the eye and say, oh, king, we are confident that our God is able to rescue us from your hand because we will not serve and bow down to this God and this idol. However, even if he doesn't rescue us from your threats and fires, it doesn't matter. We're going to serve God. We're not going to bow to the idol. Well, this Nebuchadnezzar literally blew his stack and, as you know, got the fire heated up to much, much more than normal and had these three men thrown in. And even the people that threw them in were consumed by the fire. It was so hot. And of course, we know that they come out through the fire. But the point is, why were they secure? It's because they weren't looking to circumstance. And while you and I may not be faced with 90-foot golden idols and statues and fiery furnaces, we act like that. We have the fear and the anxiety that come when we lose our focus on God. See, if my purpose is to honor God, no matter what, and be faithful to him. And let him take care of whatever it is. If I'm faithful to him, then he'll take care of me. So for them, whether their worst concern, being tossed into fire, was met, or whether they were rescued, they were able to be consistent and firm and not have anxiety and not be driven by fear and not make a pragmatic choice. They were going to serve God. And that story comes to comfort us today. As my friend Jay Adams likes to say, happiness is not bound up in circumstances. Circumstances don't make you happy. The faithfulness of God is our security and our blessing. And that's the thought, as we begin to think about fall and we begin to think about what's going forward. The things in your life that are your big idols and your fiery furnaces, don't fear them. Fear the loving hand of God. And that will bring you peace, and that will remove you from the power of fear, anxiety, worry. And that's the thought for today, and we'll be in touch. Have a great day. Bye-bye.